Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Derek Logowitz, the marketing lead here at the Donas Group, and I'd like to welcome you to our Lunch and Learn event on the Acumatica Distribution Edition. I've got Jay Porras and Bob Donald with me today, and we're excited to introduce you to Acumatica's solution and to show you some of our favorite features. So before we get started, I have a couple of quick housekeeping items. First and foremost, since we are recording today's presentation, I've placed all of the attendees on mute just to prevent any accidental background noise. You still have the ability to interact with us and to ask questions by raising your hand, or raise your hand via the GoToWebinar interface. So, in fact, if I can, I'm looking at my display right now. So if everybody can kind of jump on there and raise their hand just so I can see that you're all there and you can hear me, that would be great. All right, cool, awesome. So I might ask you to use that a bit more later, just to, again, just since we have you guys on mute, that's a great way for us to interact with one another. We'll also obviously get to some questions at the end of the end of Bob's demo, so feel free to use the Q&A session in there, and we'll answer those questions at that time. So please don't be shy. We've got some time set aside for you. There's Judy's hand. Woohoo! Also, I wanted to remind everybody, the Lunch and Learn vouchers at Grubhub, they are good for today. So please make sure that you're utilizing that and taking advantage of that opportunity. So just as a quick reminder on that. So with that, I'm going to move on to my next slide here. All right, so real quick, just a quick look at our agenda. Jay is going to go through a little bit about Donas Group, and then also the Acumatica company overview. He'll then hand over everything to Bob to go through his demonstration. Again, he'll be doing an overview of some of Acumatica's features, as well as the features and functions of the distribution group. When Bob's done, I'll jump back on and run through your questions, as well as just kind of wrap things up. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand everything over to Jay so he can begin his presentation. Take it away, Jay.
Thank you, Derek, and thank you everyone for attending today. Wait a minute. Since 1996, the Donas Group has been working with a wide variety of customers in many industries, including distribution customers. We attribute our longevity to our commitment to staying current with technologies and certifications. This has allowed us to support and service our customers and develop long-term relationships. Developed for resilient businesses, Acumatica Cloud ERP is the most usable, adaptable, and affordable business management solution available today. Built for mobile and telework scenarios, it easily integrates with the collaboration tools of your choice. Acumatica delivers flexibility, efficiency, and continuity of operations to growing small and mid-market organizations. With internet availability, you can connect to your system with many of today's interactive devices. Whether desktop, smartphone, laptop, or even Alexa, you can access and work from the location of your choice. There's no per-seat premium, so your technology can scale with your business instead of being a drag on your growth. Every authorized person can access, create, and receive the information they need to drive business, regardless of whether they are frequent or casual users, internal employees, external vendors, partners, or customers. With Acumatica's flexible consumption-based licensing plans, you only pay for the computing power you need. Our pricing is designed to be stable and predictable, geared to your growth. Unlike other ERP offerings, Acumatica has multiple deployment options to meet your organization's requirements. They include software as a service, or SaaS, which is hosted in the cloud and is offered on a subscription basis. AWS is Acumatica's preferred public cloud platform. Private cloud is also subscription, and here you host the applications where you want. on-premise or third party. The third option is the perpetual traditional method. Here, you purchase the software upfront and pay for annual maintenance fee. You have the ability to move between options should you require. Leading research firm IDC, who focuses on the tech landscape, has named Acumatica a leader in mid-market ERP, which included over 23 other ERP offerings. John Roskill, CEO of Acumatica, attributes this to the investment that Acumatica has made in delivering a product that is innovative and high on the customer usability scale. Acumatica is committed to customer success. Acumatica's Net Promoter Score is quite commendable. The Net Promoter Score gauges the loyalty of a firm's customer relationships and ranges between -100 and +100. A positive 50 is considered excellent. Some other examples: Starbucks comes in at 45, Coca-Cola comes in at 8. In the 10+ years of Acumatica's existence, they have averaged 700 customers a year, or about 2 a day. The NPS plus Acumatica's high support satisfaction are reasons why Acumatica is the fastest growing cloud ERP company. From sales orders through advanced financials, Acumatica's distribution edition covers all activities that distributors require for success in the business. As with all of Acumatica, the mobile applications integrate seamlessly into the distribution edition, providing real-time information into your business. Sales order management provides complete visibility into the activities your organization requires to meet customer needs. Configure actions, notifications, and alerts to automatically trigger events during order processing. Lot and serial number tracking provide accurate control through all activities within the organization. A one-size-fits-all valuation of your inventory is not always desirable based on the nature of your items. Acumatica allows you to value items by standard, average, FIFO, and item-specific costing methods. Non-stock items are always at standard cost. Stock items can be set to any of the above methods. From submitting POs to multiple locations, drop shipments, or blanket orders, Acumatica allows you to place orders that best meet your price and delivery requirements. Create multiple approval paths to match existing business processes. Save time and eliminate paperwork by automating the requisition process, streamlining the vendor bidding process by emailing requests to multiple vendors. Audit trails track all transactions, including the identity of users who entered, approved, and modified records. Acumatica's mobile integration helps keep your inventory accurate and up to date from PO receiving, put away, picking, and shipping. Here you see distribution types served, but Acumatica Distribution Edition is designed for any business that needs to control what is most likely the largest asset of your business. Now I will hand over control to Bob, who will give you an overview of the distribution product. Thank you.
Welcome to the Acumatica Lunch and Learn event. I'm very excited to walk you through a demonstration of Acumatica ERP. Acumatica has been and is in the forefront of ERP development for the cloud. This product was written specifically for the cloud, so it's not a legacy software product with a facelift to appear to make it cloud compatible. Of the employees at Acumatica, 75% are dedicated to development. They rely on companies like the Donas Group to sell and install their product. ERP, in my opinion, could be an outdated term. It's really business management software. Acumatica is the database that acts as the single source of truth for your business, from the front office all the way to the back office. You have access to Acumatica anywhere that you have access to an internet browser. We are completely role-based, so that each one of the users that accesses Acumatica have security-driven permissions. For instance, nobody from the sales team, for example, is usually touching financial statements, so they wouldn't be allowed in that particular part of the package. As a matter of fact, it wouldn't even show them that part of the package. We are also able to fully support multiple companies, multiple branches, and multiple currencies. In my case, I've got mine set up right now. I've got multiple companies and multiple branches. We also have a very powerful tool called Universal Search, which works throughout the entire product. In this search box, I can search for anything in the system. In this example, if I just type in 1099, it'll come back and tell me, the first thing it does is shows me all the menu items that 1099 appears on. So these are all menus that I can have access to 1099 information. Under transactions and profiles, it would show me all the transactions within the system. Under help topics, that goes into our very detailed help system, which allows you to look up anything within the system. If there are any files to go out, they would show as here. So it immediately shows the search results and the available menus. We organize our software based on the concept of workspaces. So over on the left-hand side of my screen, you'll see that these different menu items are where we group together our different business process areas. So for instance, the payables workspace is everything to do with accounts payable. Now, generally, somebody in the payables department would spend most of their time within that, and they would not be looking and seeing all the other options on the left-hand side of the screen. If I go to the payables workspace, we try to categorize the transactions in support. So transactions, profiles, processes, and so on. We also have this is what's called the quick menu. There's also what's called the full menu. The full menu is everything that's available underneath that transaction. You have the ability to move things back and forth between the full menu and the transaction and the quick menu. It's very easy to modify through these resources. For instance, if I go into edit, you'll see under reports, you see these little check boxes. Those are the ones that are on my current quick menu. If I click the next one, exit it, go back to my quick menu, I've now added a new report easily to the screen. Acumatica really prides itself in the concept of low-code, no-code maintenance within the system. We want you to be able to personalize your ERP experience without needing to call up a developer or programmer, pay money anytime you want to make a small change. Workspaces are another example of that usability and personalization. You will also see that Acumatica gives you the ability to determine what are your favorites and how to get there. For instance, if I go to the favorites menu, it doesn't matter what part of the software we're looking at, you can set favorites up within the system. This is another common example of usability within the system. So for instance, if I was on the finance team, I can pick two particular items, which I did here, journal transactions and profit and loss. If I went to the finance menu, you'd see that there are quite a few more items on there. And if you notice the little gold star by the two items that I checked. Once more again, personalizing the system based on the user and user preferences. These personalizations are based on your user login ID, so no matter where you log in, whether it be in the office, at the coffee shop, doesn't matter, in your car, as long as you have internet access, your selections become your screens. Now, a lot of software companies are known for throwing around buzzwords. Buzzwords like real-time and business intelligence and real-time business intelligence. And what really is business intelligence? What can the power of real-time business intelligence do for your organization? Well, we really think it's more than just running a report. We think it's about giving you multiple strategies and tools at your fingertips to help you analyze your data the way you want to, not the way we've decided you need to look at it. A dashboard is one critical example of that. When we talk about connected workspace, when we talk about usability, dashboards provide notifications, reminders, and tasks to each one of the users within Acumatica. I'll just go to my favorites and go to my customer view. I'll go to dashboard. In this example, I'm looking at the customer view dashboard, and this is giving me a real-time access to drill into any of the information that's being presented here. Every piece of data that you see here is actually its own unique report, and I'm unlimited as to the number of reports I can put on my personal dashboard. So if I look here, it shows me my late orders, orders to ship, open opportunities, overdue AR, and so on. I can look at my recent activities, items purchased. Whatever information is important to see in a quick screen, that's what you add to this. So of course I see what orders need to be shipped and what we're looking at for total credit that's been extended. And not only am I getting these grand totals, like I mentioned, we can drill down into the information so I can see what those orders are that need to be shipped. And I can drill right into any one of them to begin the fulfillment process. So if I wanted to look at those late orders, it'll actually come back and tell me in detail, these are the orders that make up that information on that screen. So when I'm looking at this customer view, I'm seeing all of the orders that need to be shipped. I'm seeing all of my support cases for all of my customers. But perhaps I'm on the phone and I want to talk to a particular client. I can actually go in here, pick one client in particular, and now my view, which stays the same, is now just based on information for that customer. So I can look up anything as I'm talking to them on the phone. One of the options we have here is there's a legend on this bar chart. If I click on the legend, it'll actually tell me what makes up all of the different items within that bar chart. These are the type of features that allow us to be awarded as one of the most user-friendly ERPs that exists today. Beyond being able to utilize these dashboard analytics, we also want you to be able to design these dashboard analytics. So one more time, without needing to call a developer, I can simply design this dashboard and I can start to move items around. So if I go into the design mode, I can do things like, if I wanted to move this over here, move it back over there, I have the control of moving things within the system. I can then set each of these, because all of these colors are also defined as part of the query, to tell me whether I want to be concerned, in this case the red. You can make the blue mean what you want, the yellow being a warning. You have that complete control within the system, and if there's no programming involved, it's a matter of us showing you how to do it, and then you have the ability to change as often as you like. This is just one more example, I think, of how Acumatica provides a true user-friendly ERP to make these types of dashboard changes without needing any coding whatsoever. Now, behind each one of these dashboard tiles is a very critical differentiator for Acumatica. As I said, each one of these dashboard tiles is actually driven by what we call a generic inquiry. It allows us to bypass the need to create custom reports every time we need unique analytics. So in this example, we created an opportunity. Actually, let me go to my complete customer. Go back to my complete customers. I can take this generic inquiry and get great information from it as is. So if I go into opportunities, and in this example, you can see where I've highlighted some fields that they're in a particular order. We've asked that any opportunities that would appear in blue, they're not here yet. Anything with the past due date is considered late, so we should want it to appear in red, which we're seeing here. And then any opportunities that don't have an owner, that's also important to us, we show as yellow. As a sales manager now, or as a salesperson, when I come to the screen, I immediately know which opportunities need to be assigned, and I immediately know which are late, and I immediately know the ones that have been won by getting that visual cue from the colors. Beyond just that type of color coding or conditional highlighting, we call it, you can create as many filters off of these inquiries as you'd like to. So for example, I'm seeing across the tabs on the screen here, Each one of these is a saved feature within the same query. So it's different rules for different things. So for instance, I want to say all records, or if I only want to look at the one, notice that these are all blue. And if I look at the query, it just comes back and tells me I'm looking at the file and the status equals 1. I mean, that's as hard as the programming gets with this. When I'm on this, I can then create a new one, or I can do a one-time only, or if I decide that's something I'm going to use on a regular basis, I can go ahead and create the query and save it so that next time I come in, it's already there for me. It's very intuitive. That's one of the things that I liked about it, is everything is very intuitive once you get used to the way things flow within the system. Keeping the concept of the user-friendly ERP, you could also see throughout Acumatica that we provided you the ability to modify columns, modify fields, etc. So for this generic inquiry that I'm looking at, if the status column is the most important to me, I can take that column and just drag it over wherever I want it, and it's on the report. Again, saved for me as part of my view. I can also add columns to the report that aren't already there, or I can take them off simply by going into my selection button, and it tells me these are columns that I'm not currently displaying on the report, and these are all the columns that are currently on the report. So I can very easily add or subtract them as needed. This is, again, very intuitive, giving the user the power to create their own analytics and make their own decisions based on your data. Keeping on this concept of very friendly ERP, you'll see throughout that I've showed where we can modify the columns. Everything that you're seeing here on this report is true for every single query within the system. So all the rules, all the inquiries, moving columns around, sorting, they work consistently throughout the entire package. So back to the dashboard. Actually, well, this is the controller. Let me go to the customer view. I thought I saved it. We talked a lot about dashboard notifications, but I think notifications are another very important piece of Acumatica to bring into consideration. Besides dashboard notifications, we also can provide automatic email notifications. Every time you get assigned to a support case, you can automatically receive an email in your inbox with that case number and link to that case. We can also send push notifications and text messages to your mobile devices. These are so many different ways that can be informed what's actually occurring within Acumatica. As a matter of fact, one of the examples is, if you remember when we were looking at the opportunities, the ones that were in yellow, if I assign a salesman to it, I can set the rule up so that when I do assign that opportunity to a salesperson, it then sends out either a text or an email or both to let them know that in fact something's been assigned to them. It also provides an active link in that message via text or email that, as long as they have an internet connection, allows them to then click on that link and go directly into Acumatica to look at the information. Acumatica internally has hundreds of standard reports that come right out of the box, which then allows you to then add to them. You can change them. You can write your own, whether they be financial statements. If you look at a financial workspace, for instance, there's a number of different financial statements, number of reports. There's sales order reports, purchasing reports, inventory reports, any number of reports that you're looking to get your hands on. Like for instance, if I look at a balance sheet, very common one, it basically comes up with a format that we can use that's universal. You can change it. You can export to this Excel. You can sort it down by product category. You can sort it down by division. So it allows me, all the things you see in blue, hopefully you're seeing the blue. When I see the finger, it's actually saying that I can drill down into this. So if I click on any one of these numbers, I can drill down to what created that, and then each of these allows me to drill down into the detail. So from an auditing standpoint, it's really nice. Like I said before, you can print these reports you can email them, you can export them to Excel, or even create a PDF. We do provide a report designer with Acumatica. One is very similar to FRX, which is used for financial reporting. The other one is used for doing all the forms. So you could add, logos, addresses, and things like that. So talking a little bit on this, let me clear out of the general ledger. One of the key things in a distribution environment is, how do you get your orders into the system? Where do they come from? What do you do with them? Acumatica has a very nice front-end CRM package, which allows you to grab the information through any number of sources. They can come from Outlook. In other words, we have an Outlook add-in that allows you to grab the information directly from an email and post it directly into Acumatica and create an opportunity. If you're in the field and you've got your mobile device with you and you're talking with someone, you have the ability from the mobile device to go ahead and add anything within the system. You can also import, and it can pull things from the website. So for instance, if you have a website and you have inquiry capability, you can create that file, and that file can then be uploaded into the CRM system, which then becomes an opportunity within the system, which then can lead to basically a lead, which can then lead to an order within the system as well. One of the things, before I go further, I did want to bring up the fact on the handheld device, I've currently got my iPhone tied to my screen so you can see what's happening on my iPhone, and I've logged into Acumatica through my phone. As you'll see, as I scroll here, you'll see that there's a lot of different functions that are available on the mobile device. Basically, all of the functions within Acumatica are here. I can do sales orders, I can do purchase orders, I can even do purchase order receipts. One thing that people like to use it for is that they'll go in, they'll do the expense claims, for instance, on the road. They're out on the road, they have an expense, let's say it's a hotel or food. I'm going to bring one up that's already existing. And here we've got it's hotel for training, with the date, claimed by, what it's for. You can have the customer and location if required. And there's details, expense claims. You'll notice down at the bottom of the screen it says Files 1. One of the things that's true throughout all of Acumatica, it is fairly good at document management. And I'll show that a little bit later, but anytime that there's a document involved, be it a receipt, a contract, an email, they're all can be then made part of the system, whether it be part of a sales order, whether it be part of a customer record. In this case, what happened is the salesman turned in an attachment for the receipt of the hotel. And wake up. And there's the receipt that was taken, so it can become part of the permanent record itself. I'll just minimize this. I know I'm probably tight on time, so I'm going to kind of go through these fairly quickly. Under sales orders, to give you an idea on sales orders, and I'll throw in my 2 cents on the inventory. Inventory within the system is fully featured. We have multi-warehousing, multiple locations. You have full serial number tracking, full lot control tracking, and as Jay mentioned, all of the different costing methods that are involved with it. If I'll create a new sales order, kind of walk us through the process. There's multiple order types. There's quotes, as well as sales orders. The system also has a feature called Type Ahead. So as you start typing something, it's automatically in search mode and tries to fill what it finds is the best answer to it. So in this case, I typed in AB, which brings me to my bartender school. Fills in some standard information for them. Okay. One of the things that I can do here is that the system supports notes as well. So I have header notes as well as line notes. So if I go into notes, for instance, I can just put in and that becomes a permanent transaction within this order. And you'll see that the folder changed color so that I know that there's something behind it. Also, if this is from somebody that has sent me a PO, I have the ability, I have to save it, to scan that PO and now it's part of my order. It's a classic order entry screen where I've got the information for the customer on the top, and then I've got the details within the bottom itself here. So I'm going to add a line. And again, Type Ahead works for all of these. Give it a quantity. It's good. I'll put in my line item notes. So I've got my quantity of 2. Now what I can do is for under shipping, for instance, I can do what's called shop for rates. Acumatica is linked in directly to UPS, FedEx, and the US Post Office through stamps.com. So if I go in here and I do shop for rates, and I'm going to say refresh because it's going to go out and get the most current rates that it can find. I'm going to go look for UPS ground. Now, one of the other things it can do within the system, in the inventory system, we tell it volume size or cubic size of the item. We also have a box file which keeps track of all the boxes. So what it's telling me is that my order will fit in my medium box. So I already know I've just got one box going out the door. You also have what are called shipping terms, and you can use that to mark freight up or down. So in other words, you can actually treat freight as a profit center as well. So for instance, if you get a custom rate from, let's say, UPS, and you always add, $2 or $5, you can have the system automatically do that for you. I'm going to click OK. The other thing that's happening now, I'm doing this as one order. They would be done by different people at different times, but I'm trying to put it all on one screen here. One of the other things we can do here is if we go into payment settings, there's a couple of choices that can be done. You can do prepayments, you can do checks, you can do credit cards. So in my case, I'm gonna select credit card just for fun. I do a Visa. Now what the system does know is that based on who the customer is, it already has on file what their card is for the system. Now keep in mind, the card number is actually not stored within your system. It's actually keeping what's called a token. And that token is then used to go out and read a company called authorized.net, who then has the liability of the security of the credit card numbers. So there's no liability on your side of the credit card numbers themselves. Let me save it. And then what I would do here is I can authorize payment or capture. The difference is when the card is charged for that individual, and different environments have different rules within it. So I'm going to authorize it. Now, one of the nice things that that are set behind the scenes is when you enter the order, the system automatically, we have a thing, it's kind of like an event manager type thing, so that when this happens, I want you to do something automatically. So one of the things we can set up is if when an order is entered for a customer, you can actually automatically create an email which goes to the customer with a copy of that order number so that they know that it's happened within the system. Same is true with invoicing within the system as well. Now, what's kind of neat, I didn't mention this before, but we have what are called ISVs, independent software vendors, that offer plugin modules to the different parts of the system. So on the invoicing side, for instance, you can actually send out the invoice with a button on it that says pay here, and they can actually then pay through a credit card on that. Good examples of what we use ISVs for are things like EDI or container tracking. If you track containers over the ocean, we have a module that does all of the tracking from port to where it ends up at your door. So under actions, for instance, I can create the shipment. I'm going to say OK. I can confirm it. Now, if you notice, once I confirmed it and I clicked on the packages module, it now tells me the box that I used, how I shipped it, the weight of the item, the declared value, if any, I had nothing loaded. And it also gives me the tracking number that was assigned. In this case, I was using UPS, so it automatically gave me the tracking number for that item. Now, if you see here, there's an attachment. If I click on the attachment, it'll actually go ahead and show me the actual label itself. So at this point, the normal thing would be to prepare the invoice. And then the system at that point would then automatically generate the invoice and send an email, if so requested, to the customer itself. One of the other ways that orders can come into the system is if you have customers that are buying a lot of quantity of the same thing, you have the ability, here, let me do this real quick. How am I doing on time, Derek?
It's 1:40, so you got about another 5 minutes or so.
Okay. I do want to show
that
this.
one.
Okay. Another way that you can get orders into the system, other than through what I just did or EDI, is if you have customers that order this. Well, actually, there's two more. I can actually use this little button here. And if you have a standard template that you can supply to the customers, so they can actually enter the order in the system. So if you get, an order for like 20, 30 items, you don't want to sit there and be typing all this stuff all over. They can just send you an Excel spreadsheet. So if I choose a file, I believe I have one out there. Yes, I do. I upload it, it automatically, and they ask me a couple of questions on it's an Excel file. It'll then create the order based on the Excel spreadsheet that I had. So rather than me typing all these items in, it's automatically entered them all for me. And now it's just a regular order moving forward. The other method of bringing orders into the system is we have what's called a customer portal. So within a customer portal, customers can actually be assigned their own login ID, and they can go to the portal and they can look up their history of what they ordered in the past. They can look up their open AR. They can use the history to create another order. So in other words, if I ordered this before, I want to order the same thing except send me 10 of them. What happens is those orders get put on, they're automatically put on hold, but then you get a notification that orders came in from the portal, you review them, convert them to a real order, and they're within the system. So that's a quick way of getting within the system itself. I guess I kind of don't want to get deep into anything else at this point. So Derek, I will pass it back to you.
All right, thanks, Bob. I'm going to go ahead and take back over the presentation. All right, so again, thanks again, Bob. Great job. I think obviously it's one of these things that the more I see it, the just the better it gets. Can't wait to see some of the other new functions that are going on. Anyway, so that said, I went ahead and was looking at the questions that have been coming in. I do have a handful. So while I'm pulling those up, I've got one that was up earlier. I guess Jay, prepare to unmute yourself. I'll ask this question to you. You might have mentioned this, but is there a separate license required to use the mobile app? But I even actually know the answer to this one. But go ahead, Jay.
No, there's not any addition that you need to do that. As a matter of fact, all the applications allow you to hook it up, and whether you want it to go to the mobile app, you just put a checkbox, you select that in the application, and it'll send it over to your phone. But no, there is no additional charge.
And actually, I'll throw my 2 cents in on that as well. I usually mention it, and I realize I forgot to, is that within Acumatica, you have the reason we have all the users is you have an unlimited user base. Once you purchase Acumatica and you have a determined volume level, you then can have as many users as you want, which means every customer could be a user, every person in the building can be a user. You're not limited by a user license. Just wanted to bring that up.
Excellent. So the next question was, do we have to use their web services, or can we stay on our own servers? I don't know.
You can host it if you want to host it with Acumatica's choice, which is either Amazon or Azure. You can do that, or if you have any other third party or your own premise, that's fine. You can put it wherever you want.
All right, and then the last question I've got here is, it says, looks like Acumatica supports multi-currencies, correct?
That is correct.
Cool. Well, I think that looks like it was it for our questions. I'm going to go ahead and move along here. So again, Donas Group prides itself on being a trusted advisor and a partner to all of you. Obviously, I see some new faces in the group, and as well as some familiar faces as well, or names, as the case might be, in the attendee list. But as such, right, we try not to be in your face all the time. We know you guys are busy, but we also want to be a resource for you. So we're constantly striving to create fresh content, related to the solutions that we do and things that can help you, but also things relevant, current to the industry as well. So please make sure that you stay abreast of that. We definitely utilize these lunch and learns for this. Hopefully, once the pandemic settles down, we can start doing some of these more in person versus virtually. But also, obviously check Donas.com. feel free to subscribe to your newsletters. There's like the newer folks on here. I'm going to go ahead and add you to our distribution list for those. So, feel free to consider this being opted in, and but obviously you have the ability to jump out as well. So, website, all kinds of new blog content, bi-weekly newsletters. Check us on the social media feeds. We're out on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter right now as well. So feel free to look at all that stuff. That's definitely us responding more to more current events as they happen versus some of our more scheduled content. But that said, feel free to do all of that. And if you have any questions or would like to see a more customized demonstration of the solution specific to your company's needs, feel free to let us know. Happy to do that for you as well. So that said, thank you everybody, and hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.